Hello again, and thanks for taking the time to watch this video. Huge thanks and shout out to everyone who gave me feedback on my last video against Syndra, where for the first time I've used a different approach to the video. So it was not just me talking about the game, but actually I prepared some slides. I'm a marketer, so I need to use slides up front to define, okay, hey, this is my game plan against this hero, but then also after the game to evaluate, did I follow that game plan? And also, what are my learnings from that game? So a little bit like a typical review situation. So I'll try this again in this game against Oscilio. So again, please let me know, is that something you enjoy? Should I continue doing this? Then obviously I will. But yeah, let's dive into the game against Oscilio and review the game plan. So the game plan against Oscilio, I mean, it's another aggro deck, right? And so we definitely want to go second here. We already have a life lead, right? I mean, Oscilio starts at 36, so we are 4 life ahead, can't count today. So we're 4 life ahead. And that means that all of our attacks, Mocking Blow, Big Bully, they're all live from the get-go. So if we can keep that life lead into our first turn, blocking, pitching into AB, then we should have quite a good start against Oscilio. So yeah, we definitely want to keep it that way with the life lead. And then against Oscilio, what I find most effective is to send Disruption. And that obviously depends on the list that we're playing. Here in this video, I'm playing the latest list from Ethan Van Sant that also won a ProQuest somewhere, I think in the US, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so this list actually does play AB3 into Oscilio. So things like Mind Warp, etc., you can negate quite easily. But if you do get something like CNC or CNC plus Pummel, that is really disruptive for Oscilio because it's basically unblockable, at least very difficult to block for Oscilio, and that gives you a lot of leverage because Oscilio on smaller hands does significantly less damage, right? And we want to avoid the big kickoff turn, pop-off turn from Oscilio. Cool, so that are my thoughts on the game plan against Oscilio. So let's dive right into the match. And luckily for me, I was able to win the die roll, and so I was able to choose second here. And I do have quite a good starting hand, I would say. I have a Sigil of Solace. That's obviously perfect turn 0 to get an even higher life lead. But on the downside, I mean, I'm playing AB3 and I do not have a blue. And that sucks because that means that Oscilio decides to pitch into the staff and into like AB, I can't do much about it. And so here with the Blast to Oblivion, I mean, I could block with a Swing Big, but I decide to use the Sink Below here to block with it to eventually keep the Swing Big for my first attack and yeah, get a larger life lead here. And I actually decide to use the Sink Below to pitch away the Looking for a Scrap because I don't have a 1 power or attack in graveyard yet, so it's not live. And here, as feared, there is the Arcane spell, and it's coming in for 5 because it's pumped by the staff. I can only block 2 with the Swing Big and the Swing Big into Arcane. So I'm down to 37, still ahead, but now using the Sigil, I mean, I'm drawing up, so it brings me back to 40. So basically nothing happened, but I'm also not at 43, so it could have been better in this scenario. All right, so my first hand is E-Strike and 2 Mocking Blows and a Steel Victory. So there are options, I would say. I could go E-Strike, buttoning a card, go 5 go again, into one of the Mocking Blows or into the Claw, but I think it's actually smarter here to use the Mocking Blow because I'm at higher life, so it creates me a Vigor, it goes up to 4, and then I can pitch the blue Mocking Blow and the Steel Victory into Kayo to pump this up to 9, and then have the E-Strike in Arsenal for a second attack, or like a go again attack into my next turn. So yeah, let's see how Oscilio blocks here. So Oscilio gives me 1 Comet Storm, and so I do pitch into the KO ability going up to 9, so Oscilio most likely is taking 6, going down to 30, and I have the E-Strike in Arsenal and also get a resource in my next turn. Here I get another E-Strike, a red Mocking Blow, Steel Victory, and an outside interference. So again, multiple options. Ideally, I want to play the Mocking Blow. I have a Vigor floating, so ideally I keep a blue here. And here Oscilio attacks me with an Ether Spindle coming for 5. And I can easily pitch 3 into AB using the Steal Victory here because, I mean, Oscilio is not attacking me with a physical attack right now, doesn't have an action point anymore, so Steal Victory doesn't do much. And so that allows me to play the E-Strike, bottoming the E-Strike for 5 go again, and then play the Mocking Blow and use the floating resource from the Vigor as well as the outside interference to pitch into the Kayo ability. So this is 15 damage incoming for Oscilio, so half of Oscilio's life, and I do get a Vigor. All right, so no blocks on the E-Strike, so down to 25. Oscilio goes, we play the Mocking Blow because we're higher life, we get booed, get the Vigor, it goes up to 5, and now Oscilio is again the position to block, but immediate decision, no blocks, so we pitch into this and bring Oscilio down to 15 life while we are at 38. But as we all know, against Oscilio, that doesn't mean much, especially if Oscilio has a Sigil of Brilliance on the board. So now Oscilio is going to play with 6 cards here, and maybe Oscilio can bounce the Brilliance, or another Brilliance that they have in hand here as well. My hand does not do that much, unfortunately. I mean, I have a Vigor, so playing the Nimby, getting a Nimblism would allow me to come in for at least 6. But first, we need to see what's happening here against Oscilio. So Oscilio has a Channel Lightning Valley on board, so I definitely want to block this out for as long as I can. Here, using the offensive behavior and then pitching the Shelter from the Storm to go up to 7. And here is a Sigil of Lightning, so Blast of Oblivion triggers and gets the, what was it, Conductivity back to hand. And here's also a Volzar activation. Or is there more? It's actually like another Sigil and then the Volzar activation. So pumping by 5. So here I do use the defense reaction, blocking 7. So no draw just now, but with 5 pump, 2 resource floating, there's probably another spell, I suppose. And there is a Mind Warp. And so, I mean, coming in for 7, I can't deny this completely, so I can pitch 3 into AB. I still take 4, and I do have an empty hand, and Oscilio is drawing 1 card. So this time around, Oscilio definitely won. On the plus side, I do have a Vigor, Tunic is coming up, and so what I can do, and I think I'm doing this, is to use both the Tunic and the Vigor to attack with Mandible Claw. Either Oscilio needs to take 3 damage, going down to 12, so getting closer to death, or Oscilio needs to give me a card if they don't want to take that damage. But first, here we see an Oscilio activation. They are discarding a Blink, drawing another card. And now we can attack with a Mandible Claw for 3. We do get the block from the Lightning Greaves, it seems. So most likely a pretty offensive turn from Oscilio. I mean, we're 21 life ahead, but yeah, that is still tough. My next hand is good though, so if I'm able to keep a blue, the Show Strength, and the Looking for a Scrap, we are looking at 13 damage, so definitely threatening life total. I mean, Oscilio still has a few block on the equipment left, but here, first of all, we need to, probably see a lot of Gone in the Flash activations here. So here, Gone in the Flash comes in for 7. So I do use the Scabskin Leathers. I have not used this yet, so keeping it up. I can't deny the Channel Lightning Valley because there are most likely quite a few activations from Gone in the Flash happening. So here, they play another Electrostatic Discharge. So taking the damage here. Another Gone in the Flash, again for 7. I can block with a blue booze. The rest of my hand, ideally, I want to keep. I mean, that's why we play to get this life lead, to survive at least one of these pop-off turns from Oscilio, and then threatening lethal on the next hand. So here's another Gone in the Flash. I think it's the 3rd time now that we're seeing this Gone in the Flash. Let's see how often we are going to see it more in this turn. So they play another Sigil of Brilliance, and now there's a Flittering Charge. They still have 2 action points, so we're going down to 17, and then there's most likely another Gone in the Flash. So we are on equal life. That's how fast these things can go against Oscilio. So that was definitely like a crazy pop-off turn for them. And they do have another Sigil of Brilliance next turn, so they can definitely keep block with more cards or threaten more damage depending on how much they want to keep. But here we go for the looking for a scrap. Comes in for 5. Oscilio discarding an electromagnetic somersault. And now, let's see. I was kind of lucky though that Oscilio was not able to keep the Lightning Valley around. That would have been disastrous, I suppose. But here, 5 damage. And yeah, they already kind of know that there's most likely a 2 for 8 coming afterwards. So do get the 1 block from their hand, it seems. So now they're at 9. They're definitely not dead this turn. So we're sending in the show of strength for 8. And now let's see if they want to go down to 1 or if they block with a card from the hand. All right, they block with an Etchings of Arcana. So they go down to 4. They have 3 cards plus now whatever they draw off of Sigil of Brilliance. I do have the blue Nimby, so ideally I could pitch into Arcane with it. I do have a Fate Foreseen, so definitely enough to block one of the 4 power attacks. And then I could send a Nimby, use the resources of Nimby and play the swing big. So coming in for 8. They do have a Sigil of Solace, so they go up to 7 life. They play Comet Storm. So I can use AB3 with a Nimby, pitch that. And now that turn is already over. I'm still at 10 life, so I can send the swing big now and put the Fate Foreseen into Arsenal. And they need to give me at least 1 card from their hand. Eventually, they give me also the Flash of Brilliance, the headpiece. But there's definitely more Flesh and Blood to be played here. Okay, Oscilio activation, discarding a Channel Lightning Valley. Now swing big is on the stack. And they don't defend, so there must be a defense reaction. No, actually, there's another Sigil of Solace in Arsenal. So they're going down to 2 life and keeping the full grip. But we have the Fate Foreseen in Arsenal, and we do have a big bully. We have Command and Conquer to block. We still have 1 block left on the Scabskin Leathers. So ideally, if they are not coming with Arcane, we could block for 8. So that means we're technically at 18 life. If we can distribute it okay-ish. And then we could use the Flex Strength and the Rotten Remains to pitch into Big Bully. So let's see. Definitely using the Scabskin Leathers here. So I'm only taking 2, going down to 8. And that allows me to use the whole resources from Scabskin Leathers. Here they come with Gun and a Flash. I can use my Fate Foreseen to block this one out. And they most likely bounce the Gun and the Flash back into the hand. Yes, here with a blink. Like even before damage was resolved, but I mean, I would block it with the Fate Foreseen anyway, and that way I can't opt. So here comes the Electrostatic Discharge and a Gun and the Flash for 7. So here I want to block 3, and I'm also using the Tunic because I don't think I'll use it anymore. So taking 3, going down to 5, still in a live lead. That means I can now play the Big Bully for 12. There's a small eventual issue depending on what they draw. If now Oscilio would draw a Sigil, they could play it before Big Bully resolves, and that would mean that we are on the same amount of life, and then Big Bully would trigger and it would only come in for 6 at max. But they don't seem to have that, so now Big Bully goes up to 8, and I can decide to pitch the Rotten Remains into Kayo to come in for 12. So they need to block at least 11 here. So they give me 2 cards plus the Flash of Brilliance. I pitch into Rotten Remains. I pitch the Rotten Remains into the Kayo, go up to 12. So if they don't have anything left, like a D-React for 4 maybe, they are dead. And they do have the Sigil of Solace. So maybe, I don't know if they've drawn this now from the headpiece. If not, then this was definitely a misplay on their end, and they should have played this before. But I assume that they played this correctly and they would have used it if they would have it. So yeah, let's take a quick look at the review. So again, like I played the list from Ethan, from Mansand, and he is playing AB3, and I kind of liked it, right? because we play so much blue, there are certain situations just where we have leftover resources, and then denying them some of the arcane spells, that is definitely a great use for our cards, especially into cards like Mind Warp, etc. I've also, in my most recent Pro Quest, actually faced an arcane Oscilio. Hi, Felix, if you're watching. And their AB3 definitely helped a lot as well. And then the second thing I definitely want to mention here, if you get Oscilio to block, as we've seen like in the later stage of the game, then we definitely have a good option to win against Oscilio, because they just play so many cards that do not block. And if we threaten lethal and they need to just give us their whole hand, then we most likely already have won the game. So that is definitely something. But I think I stick to my game plan. I went first. I leveraged the life lead that I had and really extended it. At the end, it became much smaller. But yeah, then just like the value of Reviled Kayo really outplayed Oscilio here. So again, thanks for watching. Let me know again how you like this format, if I should continue with this. Anything you see differently from the game plan or anything else that you would have played here in this game, please let me know in the comments. And if you have not subscribed to the channel, it would mean a lot if you could do that now. Thank you so much. Take care and see you soon. Bye-bye.